CNN's golden boy, their white knight of ethos, Fareed Zakaria, has a video right now, a clip from his show tonight that just is blowing up and going viral, catching red hot fire all over the internet, because it is quite astonishing that he's essentially admitting that Biden is going to lose the election. We're going to watch this clip because it's pretty phenomenal. And then I want to talk about it. There's a lot of things on here that it absolutely blew my mind. There's a lot of things that Fareed said. And Fareed is, I would have to say, as much as I abhor state media, corporate media, especially CNN, I think they spin the news more than Rafael Nadal's forehand. I really think that Fareed Zakaria has a definite reservoir of credibility amongst journalists and in the entire world of global news publications. And I myself can say that, and I think this video proves it even further, cementing that. I myself can say that I think Fareed, even though he does work for one of the worst entities in news, I have to say I do think that he is usually forthright, and more often than not, he gives a pretty sound take on things. So there's a couple of things really quickly before I show the clip. There's a couple of things on here that I really thought, it just blew my mind. I never thought in a million years that that CNN even allowed him to say. I was really blown away by that. But there's also a couple of things that I find extremely skeptical. And it gets my kind of brain working, my critical thinking engine working in maybe perhaps a different way. And I really want to talk about this. So let's watch the clip and stick around, and we'll kind of go through this.
When President Biden made clear he was going to run for re-election, I had a sense of what his election strategy was and thought it was an intelligent path to victory. After the chaos of COVID and Trump, Joe Biden would stand for normalcy and a rising tide of good economic news. Donald Trump would divide Republicans, with significant chunks of the party wishing that someone like Nikki Haley or Ron DeSantis would be their nominee. Meanwhile, Trump would unite and motivate Democrats, allowing President Biden to focus on the votes of independents and swing states who threw the Electoral College to Trump in 2016 and to Biden in 2020. I have to admit, none of this is playing out as I thought it would. Trump is now leading in almost all the swing states, but behind those numbers lie even more troubling details. As someone worried about the prospects of a second Trump term, I think it's best to be honest about reality. I understand that polls are not always accurate, but in general, they have tended to underestimate Donald Trump's support, not overestimate it. I doubt that there are many shy Biden voters in the country. The economy has been in a robust recovery for more than 2 years now, with unemployment hitting a 54-year low in 2023 and increasing only slightly since then. But Biden is getting little credit for it. The shift here is stark. On the question of who voters trust more to deal with the economy, Trump has a 22-point lead over Biden, according to an NBC poll from January. This marks a 15-point bump for Trump compared to the same poll in 2020. Perhaps this is because inflation is a far more pervasive problem than unemployment, affecting all Americans every day. Perhaps it's because people's views on the economy now are largely derived from their broader attitudes towards the candidates. But whatever the reasons, it's a stunning reversal in the midst of a relentless stream of good economic news. On cultural issues, Biden and Democrats benefit from the opposition to the Republican Party's position on abortion. But on the other great cultural issue, immigration, Biden is 35 points behind Trump as to who would handle it better. And I do